My very first Winnie the Pooh. Pooh's Neighborhood by Kathleen Zofeld, illustrated by Robin Cuddy. I'd say it's a splendid day in the neighborhood, said Owl. It's a nice day here, too, said Winnie the Pooh. Exactly what I'm saying, said Owl. A perfectly splendid day in the neighborhood. Which neighborhood are we talking about? Asked Pooh. Neighborhood, said Owl. Our neighborhood. The place where we live and where all of our neighbors live and are neighborly. Oh, said Pooh. It is a splendid day in it, isn't it? Quite, said Owl. Now I'm off on an owl's eye view. He flew up and circled once around Pooh's house. What does it look like from up there? Called Pooh. I could see 100-acre wood spread out below me, said Owl. It's a fine place indeed. As Owl flew off, Pooh began to think about what it means to live in a neighborhood, and he thought perhaps he would bring a neighborly present to his closest neighbor Piglet. He took a honey pot out of his cupboard and tied a nice blue ribbon around it. Then he tucked it in comfortably under his arm and stumped down the path towards Piglet's house. But when he reached his thoughtful spot, which is halfway between his house and Piglet's, Pooh suddenly had a thought. I could take this path straight to Piglet's house, or I could go up the path and around the whole neighborhood. And sooner or later, the path would take me to Piglet's house anyway. That is what he did. After he walked for a time, he came to the house of Kanga and Roo lived. Hello, Kanga, said Pooh. I'm just on my way to deliver this neighborly present to Piglet. But Pooh, dear, Piglet lives that way, said Kanga, pointing down the path which Pooh had come. Yes, said Pooh, but today I'm going the long way. Oh, I see, said Kanga. In that case, perhaps, I shall join you for a snack. Come on, Pooh, cried Roo. We're going to the picnic spot. Pooh said he was feeling a bit 11 o'clockish, so they went together, past the sandy pit where Roo plays, up the picnic spot to share a little something. Half an hour, and one picnic basket later, Pooh thanked Kanga, tucked Piglet's honey pot under his arm, and stumbled down the path toward Rabbit's house. Hello, Rabbit, called Pooh. I'm on my way to Piglet's to give him a neighborly present. If you're going to Piglet's house, what are you doing here? Asked Rabbit. I'm going the long way, said Pooh. More like the wrong way, if you ask me, said Rabbit. But since you're here, would you mind taking these carrots to Christopher Robin? I promised he'd have them in time for lunch. Well, at the mention of the word lunch, Pooh noticed his tummy was feeling a teeniest bit rumbly. I'd be happy to, he said. With carrots under one arm and a honey pot on the other, he walked along until he came to the place where the stepping stone crossed the stream. 1, 2, 3, 4. He counted as he teetered from stone to stone. 8 or 9 of Rabbit's friends and relations heard Pooh and peeked from the windows and doors. Pooh shouted, Hello! Rabbit's friends and relations waved. Pooh marched across open slopes of heather and up steep banks of sandstones until at last, tired and hungry, he arrived at Christopher Robin's door. Oh, my carrots, cried Christopher Robin happily. Thank you for delivering them. It seemed a neighborly thing to do, said Pooh proudly. Would you like to join me for lunch? Christopher Robin asked. And Pooh said, Well, I already am on my way to Piglet's to bring him this present, but I don't see why I couldn't stop for a little while. After lunch, in a long snooze, Pooh was back on his way. He walked down the path and through the little pine wood and climbed over the gate into Eeyore's gloomy place, which is where Eeyore lived. Hello, Eeyore, said Pooh. I was just on my way to Piglet's house with this neighborly present. Not coming to visit me, said Eeyore. I didn't think so. It's been such a busy week already. Why, only 4 days ago, Tigger bounced me on his way to the swimming hole. How many visitors can you expect, really? And Pooh, feeling rather badly, now offered Eeyore a nice lick of honey. Pooh opened the jar, and Eeyore peered in. He looked back at Pooh. Pooh peered in. Empty, he said. That's what it looks like to me, said Eeyore. Oh, bother, said Pooh. He stuffed off gumply, trying to think of how he was going to tell Piglet about this neighborly present Piglet was not going to get. Pooh had almost arrived at the place where Woozles wasn't, and decided to take the long path around it, just in case the Woozle was, when he saw Owl fly over. "I've seen the whole neighborhood today," Pooh told him, "but now I have no neighborly present left for Piglet." "The bees have been quite busy at the old bee tree lately," said Owl. "Perhaps you can get a fill up there." "That's a good idea, Owl, but it's such a long way," sighed Pooh. "Come along," said Owl. "We'll take the shortcut through the woods." So they walked together until they came to the place open in the middle of the forest, and in the middle of the place was the old bee tree. Pooh could hear loud buzzings over the top. Up, up, up he climbed. "Go up higher," said Owl. "Past the bees to get to the very top of the tree. Now look around. What do you see?" The 100-acre wood was spread out below him. "Our neighborhood!" cried Pooh. "Our beautiful home!" "That's the owl's eye view," said Owl grandly. "Oh, I can see poor Piglet out sweeping his walk," said Pooh. "It looks like he could use some company." So Pooh filled his honey pot once more, and he and Owl went to Piglet's house for supper. The end.